Hey all, welcome back. Down here on a Sunday today rather than a Saturday, and the reason being is today is potato day down at the allotment. Very exciting. So at the allotment shop they are selling the earlies, second earlies and main crop potatoes, hopefully all of the potatoes we're going to need for the year. So we're going to pick up a couple of different varieties, and I think later on in the video we'll talk a little bit more about those, when they need to be planted, but certainly it means we need to do some planning of the ground. So in terms of my next steps, I pretty much have not too much to do in this half. I've split the pot to 9 and 9, 9 meters and 9 meters, and I just really want to focus on the half I've been working on for now. So I'm just going to clear the last little bit of ground, get that covered up, and then the last few jobs will be pruning. Yes, I talk about pruning every week, but we will buy a saw and we will look to prune hopefully next week. I really just want to get this patch finished with before I move on to anything else, and then we can actually start to think about what do we want to plant here. Okay, so we're looking at the space in front of us. That would take us up to the halfway mark. The tree is effectively the halfway point, just to be able to say that we've finished clearing out this bit of land. We've got our pile of upcycled bits and pieces. Really need to think about where we're going to store that eventually. And then also just to the right of the tree, if we have a little look, we've got this massively overgrown space, but definitely a problem for another day. There's so much going on there, sticks, pallets, all kinds of rubbish. Anyway, let's get this cleared. Alright, so I'm back home now and I've got my potatoes here. I've hopefully picked up enough now to plant for the whole year, and we're just going to spend a little bit of time to talk about the 3 different seasonal varieties I've got and then the 2 main crop varieties I've got in a little bit more detail. So the key thing to know, and the key thing that I've learned here, is that you'll get a first early, you'll get a second early, and then you'll get a main crop. And I've just got my book here in front of me from the RHS, and just having a look at what it says in here. So your first earlies, you're looking to plant March, April time, being able to harvest between June and August. Second early, looking then from April and May, with a harvest time of July and September, so really right in the heart of summer, can get those. And then your main crop, plant April to May again, but you're looking at a harvest of September to October. The other thing to bear in mind, what I'm seeing in here, is that depending on the whether it's an early, second early, or whether it's a main crop, is the spacing requirement. So a key thing that we're going to be doing is having a look at the space we have and the spacing we're going to need for these crops. Alright, so let's talk about the potatoes we've got. My first early I've got here is the Frank's potato. So as I said, I'll be looking to plant this out probably March time. Hopefully everything will be sorted then. I'm looking at maybe the spacing requirements here, looking at how many I've got, and I think quite reasonably, if we can get some compost on and get that ground turned over, definitely we'll be looking to get these in for March. The second early I've gone for is the Vivaldi. Again, I think I want to try and maximise the amount I'm getting here. So the second early, I think I'll go straight for it and be looking to plant them right in April. So we'll have March of April, we've got the Vivaldi here. And then I've got the main crop as well. 2 different main crops. I've gone for the classic, the King Edward potato. Here we are, the King Edward potato. These probably all look the same to you. I mean, they look the same to me. The King Edward potato, again, main crop. I think with the 2 main crops, because I've bought 2 different varieties, maybe what we can do is plant one like late April, maybe late May. Try and spread our yield out so that we're getting a massive amount. There's only couple of us who'll be eating these potatoes, so I want to make sure I can spread them out and then have a harvest throughout the whole season. And then the second main crop I've put up here, I believe I'm saying this right, definitely not Desire, I'm thinking Desiree, maybe it's a French variety, I'm not too sure. And we've got this one here as well, which again, main crop, so we'll be looking to plant sort of April, May time, maybe later in May to spread them out. Now, the key reason I've picked up these varieties, and these varieties specifically, is that with the Francis and with the Vivaldi, so the first early and the second early, both of them are good for boiling, they're good for chipping, if you want to make chippies, fries, good for mashing, and they're also good for roasting. So really what I've picked here are two different varieties of potatoes that are fantastic in terms of coverage of what I would like to use them for, whether it's making chips, whether it's mashing them up with some pie or whatever. And similarly with the two main crops, I picked the King Edward, very much a classic potato, all of the above, plus very good for baking, and same with the Desiree, let's hope I'm saying that right, again, all of the above, good for boiling, good for chipping, mashing, baking, and for roasting. So hopefully what I've planted, or what I've bought and what I'll be planting, are potatoes that will be very good throughout the course of the year for a variety of dishes. All right, that's enough about potatoes. Back to work. Alright, I've just finished up down the plot for the day. I feel like I've made good progress with what I've been doing. I feel that we've pretty much sorted out most of the ground within our sort of half that we're focusing on. I think the next steps with the ground is to keep turning it over, have a think about when we need to bring down some manure, mix that into the soil. But certainly there are a few big jobs I've got on the horizon, on our list, things that we need to get done probably sooner rather than later, pruning being one of them. Need to sort out hooking up a water butt as well, thinking about that, and then also where are things going to go in the ground. So stay tuned. Next week we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll prune, maybe I'll plan, I don't know. But as always, thank you very much, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.